Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode of Where's My Blanket podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Gunter.
I'm David.
And together, we're going to be bringing you the YMB podcast. YMB short for Where's My Blanket, of course. And to start off, I guess we should introduce what Where's My Blanket is, or why we came up with the name. Do you want to do that?
I don't quite know why you came up with the
Okay,
name.
fine, that's true. I came up with the idea. So, Where's My Blanket for me is a platform for me to get my name out there so I can find someone better than you.
Oh.
That was a joke. Yeah. Okay, no. Basically, it's just a place for us to hang out, chill, and just talk about our lives like any other podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's just start with that. You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a musician and I teach kids play violin and piano. I also teach teenagers and adults, but yeah, a lot of them are kids. And so I've been doing music all my life. I'm interested in a lot of things, but music is definitely my passion. And I really enjoy, technology and being on the computer, playing games sometimes as well. But if anything that has to do with my profession, it would be music. So what about you?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. For me, I guess I'm just a regular guy. I have a 9 to 5 job that I kind of don't like, but I think you know that about me, right? And it's not the job that I don't like. It's just like I don't like having a day job in general, right? But I don't know. I make jokes, evidently, and sometimes I guess these jokes are a little over the line, and I think you agree with that, right? Like, some of my jokes are pretty over the line.
Yes.
And it gets to the point where sometimes if I'm having conversations, that's the first thing that comes into my mind, like these jokes. And especially if I'm at a place, like if I'm at work or if I'm with like family that's probably a bit more conservative, I don't know what to say, right? And then so some people will actually say that, oh, Gunter's a little, like, he's really quiet. And I'm not really quiet. I just don't know what to say to not offend you, right? It's like sometimes I spend a lot of energy trying to listen to what someone's saying, and I spend so much energy like just listening to what they're saying that I zone out, and I don't actually end up listening. So by the time the conversation's done, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Like that was a really cool story. And they're like, really? Like I just told you like my dog died or something, right? And then I'm like, okay, now you're in this awkward situation where, like, okay, first of all, this is a conversation that I don't want to be in anyways because, like, I don't know. I know I'm going to offend you, but yeah, anyways.
I mean, I've done that too. Like, sometimes just the story is not that it's not interesting, but sometimes the way they tell it, it's like kind of just bland and like, not really, don't really know where it's going, and just you tune out things and just kind of stop listening.
You've left me a couple times like that. There are times when we're hanging out with friends and you leave to like go to the bathroom or something, and then like I'm stuck with your friends, like, so especially if it's one other person, if it's us two and one person,
okay.
and you leave and like, so and I'm trying to like, I'm stuck making conversation, that's sometimes awkward.
Am I supposed to not go to the bathroom then?
No, I'm just saying that it happened once. I guess now it's better and
okay.
I'm more used to
Pampers
your friends. Sure.
time.
Yeah, maybe. But I guess that's a little bit about us, and so the things that we're probably going to talk about today is obviously it's on everybody's minds, but just being at home, and hopefully we say it with like a funny way or an interesting way to keep you guys entertained. So we can talk about, you want to start with working from home or just being stuck at home in general?
Yeah, working at home and just being not forced to stay at home, but it's the right thing to do at this time. It's definitely an interesting time to be alive. when you say this would be?
I would say that these couple weeks have been good for me. I know that sounds really bad to say because we're in a pandemic. I'm sorry, but so these couple weeks, because I'm working from home, I've learned a lot more about myself, and it's like I find so much more comfort being and working from home because I can say what I want or I can say how I feel and there's nobody to really stop me, right? Going back to the whole inappropriate thing, sometimes we all work with assholes, right? And I'm sorry that some people are, but that's just how the world works. And usually if I'm in the office, I'll have to be like, oh, hey, how are you, right? Like nice civil conversation. Now when I see this person like message me on like Skype or whatever, and then like the message notification pops up, before I even read their message, I can say out loud, like, fuck you, I know whatever you have to say is probably so stupid that I'm gonna roll my eyes.
But I mean, they won't hear it.
They won't hear it. That's the point, right? But it feels liberating to like
so
do that, right?
So you don't have to hold it in.
Exactly, right? Because I'm in the office, I'm like, keep myself together. Okay, hey, how can I help you? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So...
yeah, that's how you get those pimples.
yeah, it's just the rage and the build-up, right? But yeah, I don't know. What's it like? Because you teach, right? And so I know that.
Well, I'm still freaking busy. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, it's definitely a lot more freedom in terms of like I can wear anything, and the time, because it's all online lesson now. So usually I have to go to the school or go to the student's place to teach the kids. But right now, everything, just like the regular school, we're doing online lessons through Zoom, not sponsored, and like other things like that. But yeah, so the good thing is that I can kind of like go with my own schedule, and I can, be in shorts or even just boxers. No, that's too much. But like no one would see.
No one sees it anyway, right? What's the point?
Literally, this would be what you see. And
I'm actually naked underneath here right now. And
what a horror.
Yeah.
So just as long as you like, I still have to shave. Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
But I do that even less often than usual because sometimes it's like the filter or whatever, like on the camera, sometimes it looks better. But anyway, yeah.
Do you actually have to teach more because you spend less time traveling? Like, if you're the time that you take, the time that it would take for you to travel from one person's house to another's house, you can fill that gap with another lesson because you're at home now.
I wouldn't say I teach more, but I just teach them more closely. Like I don't, like you said, I don't have to travel. Yeah. So the time is filled by the student afterwards. So I basically I start working at around the same time, but I finish much earlier every day. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one of the most difficult things that you're finding, I guess, with respect to work right now, since we're on that topic? Yeah.
I mean, like, this is probably only relatable to musicians that's also doing the same things, but I can quickly mention a few. Difficult, like, definitely the interactions between the students is much harder because I can give them feedback and everything, but they can't really like fully understand some of the concept I'm trying to tell them. Like I can still sing it, I can like tell them stories and make them follow those instructions to play their music better, but what?
You're trying so hard not to say that you can't touch your kids. Because you're not going to make that joke. So...
okay. You're going to mention...
I guess I'll do the background then.
That,
because he's working from home, he's unable to reteach the kids how to reposition their fingers as if he were doing it in class. Okay? So, but I just like to make the joke that now that he's home, he can't touch the kids, which is a little joke, and I know it, right?
Yeah, so make sure they know it's a joke, so I don't go to the prison.
Yeah, you're not gonna go to prison, but it's just but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things I was gonna mention is that I can't fix his posture. I can tell him to hold his violin higher, and things like that. But sometimes depending on their setup, I can't even see if their fingers is at the right places. You know? Yeah. So those are the difficulties, right? And like sound sometimes cuts out. Yeah. Like for some reason, the higher pitches, it just cuts out in these apps. Yeah. So like sometimes it just sound like dee.
And you can't hear anything?
Yeah.
That's
so
weird.
like when they play high notes, I just hear like a whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, good job. I think it was good.
I think it was good. Yeah.
But
that's cool.
But for the most part, I think I'm still pretty thankful that, you know, I can continue to work, even during this pandemic, and you know, keep having some sort of income.
Yeah, that's true. Just for the record, I know it's like for those who aren't working, you can get your free $2,000. But just a really, really quick PSA: it's not free money because you get taxed on it. So don't think that the government is gonna come. You know what I mean? Like they're like it's on your CRA and NOA.
It's just like normal pay.
Yeah, it's just normal pay. Yeah. So like I don't know, because we've talked to some of our friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know, free money, and I'm like, not really, because you're gonna have to pay it back next year when like 2020 tax comes around. But
it's still better than nothing.
That's true
for a lot of people. Yeah, because I know it can really be a problem if you can't work at all and you're not getting paid. So I'm glad, you know, they're doing something to help.
Do you ever have the thing where because you're teaching someone with Zoom or any other thing, not sponsored obviously,
don't steal my joke.
it cuts out, right?
Yeah.
Because like for me, when I'm in my meetings with all my colleagues or whatever, sometimes our connections are so bad that like everybody's like right, and you're dealing with like 10 15 plus people in a meeting, right?
Yeah.
So all it takes is just that one person that doesn't know how to use their mic, and then it echoes and then the whole meeting just goes to shit. It's hilarious, right?
Yeah. I mean, because this is mostly one-on-one, so I don't really have that kind of problem. Yeah, but some students like camera is kind of bad. Yes, then
you should buy a new phone. In
that case, yeah, like I've tried to email everybody and tell them like what kind of device they should be using, because I think some of them are using like 10-year-old laptop or something. That must be why, because it looks like it's from the 90s.
Ancient, probably.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest.
But like I think so. I told them iPad is the ideal, because I think that's the most common one that people have, and it seems to work well. Yeah, like I take surveys during the lessons, ask them what they use, and just kind of try to replicate that setup for everybody. But obviously, not everybody can have the same setup.
Yeah. So for me, just a really quick story about having meetings at home with crappy internet. Well, it's not really just crappy internet connection, but just having background noise when you're working from home. So I have this one colleague, which obviously I'm not going to mention, but they have dogs, right? And the dogs, like in almost every meeting without fail, the dog's like, right? It sounds sad, right? And obviously this is not something that I want to bring up, but I'm like, hey man, like, is your dog crying, right? And usually they're going to say no, right? Because if they say yes, right? You know, like, are you beating your dog or something? Like, is that why it's crying? And then he's like, no, like, why would I beat my dog? And then I'd be like, well, I mean, can you? Because, you know, tell that thing to shut the fuck up because we're having a meeting, right? Like when you hear like, that was a joke. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, you're not an animal abuser.
Not
but
yet,
yeah,
anyways.
It is really annoying. Yeah, actually, in one of the lessons today, the student's dog was really going at it.
Yeah.
It wasn't crying, but it was just really excited about something. Yeah, usually it barks here and there, but yeah, that today it was, I couldn't hear the student play, and I was like, can you tell Bubble to calm down?
Bubble's a cute name.
His name is Bubble.
That's a cute name.
It is cute.
I like Bubble.
Just
you know what's
like
a really
RT.
Yeah, RT. Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Yeah. Sadly he didn't have Bubble in his, but that's fine.
Yeah, they got my order wrong.
I know. That's so sad.
What the heck?
Yeah.
They actually didn't get the order wrong, but they put the picture on the app wrong. Yeah, so the picture looks like something totally different, but apparently this is the drink. Like the name matches the drink, but
I feel like we would get in trouble if we should talk them, so let's just move on to something else.
yeah,
But
they're not gonna watch this.
yeah, okay. Anyways, how about being stuck at home in general? like just not work related, right? Because
Yeah.
that's probably more
I mean,
relatable.
it gets dull sometimes, and I think a lot of people are like kind of having a crisis, like just have nothing to do and like you know
How do you pass the time?
feel like no energy. For me, it's pretty much the same. Like whatever I do on my downtime, you know, go on YouTube. I have those few channels that I subscribe to that put up video, you know, every day or every other few days. So I watch those Netflix shows and you know, just things like that to relax, play some games. Of course, I have my plants to take care of.
Days Airplane Corner. Are we plugging that now? We can plug that now. It's okay.
Yeah, nothing much to plug. It's just it's a small business that I do on the side. That's
Follow Dave's Airplane Corner on Instagram. We're gonna have it down below anyways, and also a link to his website down below as well.
It's so random.
It is pretty random, but I mean, you have to say, because you told me that business is booming now, right? I mean, once again, we understand that it is a sad time because it's a pandemic. But
seems like people.
It's working out for us for some reason.
Yeah, seems like people are really loving plants. I guess because they have nothing to do, they have more time to take care of their green friends. And I mean, also because I have more time, I've been promoting more on Instagram and other places. So that helped. But yeah, I mean, like, aside from the business, you know, I have more time to take care of each plant. You know, do some trimming, repotting. I sound like I'm 80 years old, but
it's okay. Don't worry.
It's fun. Trust me.
It is fine. Well, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is that a lot of people that I'm talking to, they're starting to do things that they've always wanted to do. Like, I'm seeing so many friends that are posting on social media when, like, you know, all our musician friends, you know, they're playing more stuff. You know, I have some friends or old colleagues, you know, one doing archery and, like, you know, they're doing things that they always say they were going to do, but, you know, since, you know, when things were normal, quote unquote, right? They didn't have the time, and now they are, right? Even I'm starting, like, I'm seeing that for myself.
Like this podcast.
Yeah, like this podcast, right? And it's, I don't know, like, I almost feel like this is pushing everybody in, like, the right, like, the right direction, kind of. I know it's, like, obviously sad again, but, like, you know, a lot of people are saying that this is like a little cleanse, right? We're staying away from technology. There's so many articles about, like, air pollution is getting better and we can see more, right? So it really brings into perspective like what's important, right? Like, do you really need to be in the office? Because I mean, personally, I would love working from home. If the pandemic ends tomorrow and I can stay at home working, I would, because, like, I don't know, then I can shut down my colleagues all day.
Some jobs though you can't really.
Yes, I mean, if you had the option, obviously.
Yeah, but if you have the option, I think sometimes it is better almost, right? In the way, that you have more freedom and. Like you said, you don't have to, you know, put on the face for people. Yeah.
Well, we also have the weekly board game thing that we do with our group of friends. So we have a group of friends that we play board games with. Every week is a new board game.
Yeah, so we just tell them to come to our place.
Yeah, you know, fuck social distancing, right? You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. Board Game Arena. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. You know what? Stop saying the same joke, okay? Like,
it works every time.
You're not? Okay.
Anyway, but it's a great way to still stay connected to our friends.
Yeah, some people are doing puzzles, and I think that I see people doing puzzles, and I think
see the appeal, but
I was like, how can you?
I mean, you have zero patience, so
that's
obviously that's not gonna work for you.
Yeah.
We should finish that puzzle that we have, though.
Which one? Oh,
the BB-8 one.
Do we have that?
It? It's here.
Am I in trouble now? Okay, whatever. I don't even know. I was gonna say an article or say something really quickly. Oh yeah, your friends, they like to gang up on me a lot, and so this is going back to the whole mute your microphone thing, because when we're playing with our friends every week, so, you know, as you might be able to tell, I'm not sure, you can just assume, I guess, I'm someone that's, like, a little bit competitive when it comes to games, right? And so I, you know, with a friend group, you have a diverse group of people, right? Some are just there for fun, la di da. Some are spaced out. But I'm just like, okay, like let's try a little bit of strategy and kind of think of something.
You want to win,
right? Okay, kind of, but not really. Like it's different.
No, I mean, like everyone wants to win, and to an extent.
So there's a difference, right? Like okay, when I want to win, I'm like super focused and into it, right? Last week when we were playing our game King Domino, which is very fun by the way, King Domino was very fun. You were trying so hard. You're like, okay, I'm gonna win. Like I'm gonna win.
Me?
Yeah, you said that because like you are competitive as well. Okay,
Yeah,
don't
but
get
I
me
was
wrong.
half joking.
But
because it's a new game, I don't even know what's going on.
It's okay. Neither do I. It's the first time I'm playing. You think
And
I have
he
prior experience?
won.
Wow.
He
Okay.
won.
But I'm just saying that you, even though you're trying to play, or like you're trying to be competitive, I can see on your screen that you're doing like things that just like don't make sense. And I don't want to teach you how to play, right? Because that's not the point. One of the worst things is when you're starting a game and someone teaches you how to play, because
Why?
because it feels like a chore then, right? Because everybody's like, oh, this is the strategy. You got to do it this way. And then for me, it takes all the fun out of exploring the game and learning the game for yourself. You know what I mean?
But I mean, it's good to get a few tips, right? To start.
Yeah, I guess. But I think a lot of people, like, I'm sure most people can relate. A lot of friends do go overboard. Because like, oh, no, you shouldn't have done that. You should have done this instead, right? And then they're like kind of picking on your every move. And you're like, you know what? Just chill the fuck out, okay? Like we're playing a game here, right? And
yeah, I mean it's good to explore your own tactics and like style of playing.
Yeah,
of course. Especially for a strategy game. I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah. If you guys have any games to recommend, please do share because that's and honestly I think there are more websites. Obviously we subscribe to Board Game Arena, but I think there are other ones, right? That might have other they might have a better, not better, but
I know Catan has a online version too. Yeah, Settlers, but I haven't played it. The interface looks kind of janky, but apparently it works okay. But yeah, I don't know. Most people just play Board Game Arena.
Yeah,
Facebook games.
That's true. You know what the one thing I really dislike about Catan is? Or like what people say about it? Like
you don't win?
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Okay.
I love that game. Come on.
A lot of people say that's like, oh, that game breaks friendships or whatever, right?
It does.
I don't see that though. Like it's just a board game, right?
Yeah, you haven't played with some of my
like really hardcore people,
friends and family.
Friends, I guess. I don't know. Like when people make these types of like really like astronomical like characteristics about like it's a board game, okay? Like as competitive as I am in a board game, like big picture wise, you're just there with friends having fun, right? Honestly, who cares if you win or lose, right? I mean, yes, it's nice to win.
Wow. Yeah, if they lose every time or they feel like they're ganged up,
like me, like your friends on me. Yeah, and yeah.
Well, that's because you keep winning. So of course you're being.
Okay, PSA or side note, I still win even though they ganged up on me, right? Ganged up on me.
Yes.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
For him only.
Can I bring a quote up really quickly, or like a statistic up? You might already know this, but 25%. Oh no, there has been a 25% increase in divorce rates in China since living at home or since this lockdown thing.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and also there's like all these Reddit posts about like, oh, after 3 days in lockdown with my wife, I got like crazy, like we're driving each other crazy, and I had to install a game on our computer to like for us not to be crazy, right? And I like when I read these, I just think to myself, have you not met this person before? Like, how do you go on vacation together, right? That you have to know this person's in and out.
I feel like I mean, some couples, of course, they probably didn't get to explore each other's every side, and that's.
How could you be married then? That's what I think. Like, how can you marry someone?
Yeah.
How can you marry someone without knowing all of them?
But
I
think one of the other reason that this could be happening is because like some people married for a long time, right? And people do change, maybe not fundamentals, but
that's true.
Environment, work space, they change you as a person sometimes. And if both of the both people are working, then when they go home, they just,
not that much time to
yeah,
interact and
just eat dinner, and then
how's your day?
watch something, go to bed. Yeah, so they don't really get to interact with each other all that much. Yeah, so over time, things
I feel is a little sad, right? Like that's another reason for me not to want to go back to work, right? Or at least not have like a day job that takes up so much of your time, right? Yeah, I don't know, because when I think about us, we both know each other's flaws, and honestly, I can say that if we were stuck in the same place right now, that I probably would kill you too. Like I would probably go crazy. You always
hear it first.
Always forget to put shit back. It's crazy.
Not really.
The
Not
best
every time.
The best example is salt. Like
what?
Salt. Because you'll take salt from the kitchen and then you'll bring it to the bath, which I understand, by the way. Like I understand people rinse their mouth with salted water. Like that's a thing. I understand. Okay. But you forget to put it back. And the thing is, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh yeah, and I wake up in the morning, I go to the bathroom and I see the salt there. First thing I think is like, fuck, you forgot to put it back. Fine, right? But then I don't remember to put it back either. I don't remember. So then when I go to cook stuff, I'm like, where's the salt? And like, I just forget. And then I go through this whole 5-minute mode of like...
You have to walk. You just have to walk like 5 steps to find it. It's in the bathroom.
Yeah, I live in a very small condo, okay? Yeah, but I'm just saying...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And
I've heard that before.
I'm sure you probably would kill me too, because all the times that I nag at you about stupid shit... Like I nag at you a lot.
But then I don't know what's wrong with my throat.
That's okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think I'll want to kill you because I have much more patience. But I can see how we would have probably more fights.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the first thing that you would do after this pandemic is over?
Definitely see friends.
That's a really boring answer, but that's okay.
How's that boring?
Because I think that was like the top 2, right? Like, well, one of the top 2, right? I'm gonna go eat and I'm gonna go see friends, right? That's...
If you ask me what I'm gonna do before going to bed, I'm gonna tell you brush my teeth. I'm not gonna come up with something insane just to make it more interesting.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, like, seeing friends could be many things, right? We can go to, restaurants.
Oh, karaoke. I miss that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do many different things.
I miss singing a lot of
with
shitty songs and having my shitty voice.
Singing.
You know what? Who's the asshole now? Right? I don't get it.
Yeah, but I think also just going outside in general, without being fearful that the virus is gonna fly on your face.
I don't know.
Like just even going like for a walk. I mean, you can go for a walk now, but it's just less freedom.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the reasons that I brought this topic up is because recently I found there was like a video of I'm not sure if it's in China, by the way. It might be somewhere else in the world. There was a naked person that was just running around and just like showing his stuff to people. And then some lady up in her balcony, because she's in quarantine, like because she's locked down, was filming it. And then the cops finally found her, right? And as I was watching that video, or was like reading that story, all I did was laugh because I thought it was hilarious. Now, granted, I understand that when you're there at the time, it's probably really traumatizing, but it just made me remember, like, I really miss watching the news and like seeing funny stories, like or like stories that would make me laugh, right? Like these kind of things, right? What happens if after the quarantine's over, some guy is like on like a fountain, right? And then when the girl comes to drink it, she's either like, disgusting, right? Or she's like, yummy. If she's a thirsty person, right?
On a water fountain.
Yeah, on like a public water fountain, like, you know what I mean? And
then you see that kind of news?
No, I'm just saying. Well, it would be reported as news, and I would find it funny, right? Clearly, and like, yes, once
Sounds
again,
like Reddit.
Yes, it is quite Reddit, right? But once again, yeah, like, to some people, they would hear that, they'd be like, oh, this man is disgusting, right? Sure, he's disgusting, but it's also fucking funny. Like, let's be honest with ourselves here. Like, I'm sure if you were that person or that lady drinking it, yes, it's like maybe it's traumatizing, but I don't know. Some things, like, you know what I mean? Okay, if the same event happens, one event happens, multiple people see it, they'll have different reactions, right? Some people get angry, some people think it's funny, right? But so it's just perspective, I think, right? Like you can choose to be angry at something, or you can choose to think it's funny and like make jokes about it, right? Because I don't know, I don't know.
See things lightly in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss singing. I mean, I miss seeing different news. You know, even just like YouTube. Right now, all the news is about.
All the news is literally about
the
this,
virus.
and there's nothing else.
Projection, how long it's gonna last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do look forward to more good news, or like entertainment. What movie's coming out next? It's been a while since the last movie we saw. Yeah.
I actually haven't spoken to a lot of my friends. Like, it almost...
Since the lockdown?
Since the lockdown. And I'm genuinely curious to know, A, how they've been. And I know this sounds kind of mean, so I kind of apologize for saying it in advance. But, like, if it's a lockdown and we don't talk to each other, like, it really just goes to show, like, we can live without each other, which is kind of a scary thought, right? Like, there are friends that we keep in touch with on a daily, like, not on a daily, but on a couple days. We're like, hey, how are you? Good, right? We're keeping in touch. But there are some other friends who I used to talk to that I just don't anymore.
So why do you think that is, though?
Well, I mean, partly because they're introverts and they don't mind being alone, right? Like, not that I would consider myself, because I am. Like, every time I do these tests, they say that I am an extrovert, right? And some of my friends are introverts, and I literally have to drag them out. I'm the one that plans going out. Like, every month we have this group where we try a different restaurant every month. Like, you're a part of it, obviously. And we try a new restaurant every month because fun adventures and stuff. I started that, right? And because so I have to literally drag people, like, hey guys, can you choose the next restaurant of the month, because I'm always choosing, because most people are like, yeah, sure, whatever, man, and they don't really care. And so it just, like, I don't know, it just brings, like, kind of gives me perspective, like, if I don't initiate, you could probably live without me. But
like the lockdown,
it's kind of like a sad thought for me to think about it like that. That they don't reciprocate, which is anyways.
I mean, we can still reach out, right, to people that are more introverted. If you want to keep in touch with them, you can still do it.
A relationship in any form of another is a two-way street, right? Like, it can't always be me. Hey, how are you? Right? Like, that's not a friendship or anything, right? So I understand what you're saying, but at some point or another, it's tiring to always be me. I'm the one that's reaching out, right? Not to get all sad or anything, like, so sad.
No, I mean, like, we all, like, gain and lose friends along the way, right? Like, you're not gonna stay with...
A long lives. Yeah.
I
had a joke there, but I forgot about it.
What?
I don't know.
You don't stay friends with people forever. Some people, right? Even though you might be very close to each other for a long time, but that might change because of many different things. Not just this pandemic. Yeah, many things can pull people apart.
Got a question for you. Going back to the work situation for a real quick second. Do you prefer working from home, or do you prefer
working
in the office? Yeah.
I prefer working normally, I think, overall. Yeah. Just because I don't work in an office, right?
Why? Why do you prefer prefer working in versus
because I can interact with people more. Yeah, I can tell the students face to face what to do. I can ask them about their day. I mean, I can do these things online too, but it's different. Even as a technology loving person, I think it's different when you can see the person and feel the energy, right? And I don't have to, not like you, I don't have to really put on a face for anyone to see, or like, it's different for teaching, I think. So for me, I would rather...
But let me ask you this, which I think the point that I'm trying to get at is if there wasn't a pandemic and there's no social distancing, right?
Okay.
Which means that you're able to go out and see your friends and make lunch plans, whatever, right? But you're still working from home, like you're right. So in that sense, you have your like you're still able to see people, your friends, right? But you can work from home and you have that luxury of comfortability of being at home.
Okay.
Would you do that? Because the point that I'm trying to get at is, do you really miss going to work, or do you just miss social interaction in general, right? Because
I mean, I think it would be good to have the option of staying home without it being a problem. But for me, I don't mind going to work. Yeah, like. But
I guess I do because I have all the
I mean, like for you it's obviously different, right? Because
every time a colleague says, "Hey, Gunter, can you help me with something?" I'm like, "No, can you fuck off, please?" That's probably why. No. No.
It's a different situation.
Yeah,
I guess I enjoy my work environment. And
that's true.
That's one of the reasons I wouldn't mind seeing these people, and I would like to interact with students.
That's true.
Parents.
Yeah.
Some parents maybe not, but yeah,
maybe not. Yeah.
Most of them are nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, so I get that point because you actually like your job, so I understand that, right? I guess one of the biggest things that, as I was talking to people and trying to gain some research for this podcast and whatever, one of the biggest reasons for people wanting to go back home or wanting to go back to work is because they're living at home with their kids or family or whatnot, and their family takes a lot of their attention, which means it's taken away from work, right? And so I wanted to make that distinction clear because if there's no pandemic tomorrow and your kids are at school, then you don't have that problem where your attention is focused on your kids, right? So I want to make that distinction clear. Now, if you also have other adults your parents or your brothers or sisters that are working from home too, they're all adults and you can just close your door and not you know how some people are like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say here. Some people's parents or siblings are annoying, okay? And they'll be like, hey, I'm gonna bother you when you're in a meeting or something. All you need to do is close your door, right? And worst case scenario, if it's super bad, just be naked. And I'll tell you why. It's hilarious, right?
That went a strange turn.
Have you ever heard of someone open their door and my son or my parents are naked? Would you ever say, hey mom, can I join in? You want to have a threesome? You know what I mean? You want to have a threesome? No, right? They open the door and they close it right away, right? You can do that too if you're working from home and your family or whoever is bothering you, even your kids right now, right?
Just strip naked?
Yeah, your kids are going to open the door.
But you're going to tell them.
And then, right? And then all you have to do is wait till 4 or 5 p.m. or whenever you're done work. Put clothes on and hey, all right, sorry, this is...
They're going to wonder what kind of job you're doing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Because once again, for me, I don't need to have my webcam on because all my meetings, I'm just using my voice and people, they don't see me, right? I wake up, I don't even shave. I shave once a week when I have to see my parents.
Do podcast.
Yeah, do podcast, obviously, because I had this real scruff that was happening, and it was disgusting. Yeah, you can tell. It was pedophile disgusting. Yeah, I feel like you, basically. Wow, that was, yeah, okay. But, no, yeah, But just circling back, I just want to make the distinction clear that I think a lot of people they miss social interaction, and it's not really working from home. And they just falsely attribute the fact that they're stuck at home and all their frustration to working from home.
So you think they want to go back to work because they miss social interaction?
Well, that's one of the reasons. Well, that's one of when I ask why do you want to go back to work? I miss my colleagues. Do you really though? If you had the choice right now, pandemic over, if you had a choice between having a beer with your colleague or having a beer with your friends, who would you choose, right? If I were to have a beer with my friend or friends, I could tell them that, I can't wait to, do. I don't want to say that because that's probably too inappropriate. But yeah, I can't wait to do some coke or something, right? Or maybe like
That's better.
right? Yeah, that's better, much better, right? But you can't say that to a colleague. With a colleague, you're probably like, so how many siblings do you have, right? And it's awkward. It's like a first date or something. Like, no, I don't want to be there, right? So when people say, I miss my colleagues, like, do you really, or do you just miss seeing people in general?
Well, I think they miss their colleagues during the working time. But you're saying if you work at
just
home,
in general, I guess. Yeah.
If you work at home, yeah, I guess you have more freedom to do whatever you like.
Well, before the pandemic, sometimes I still do work from home, right? And all you really need is a laptop and Wi-Fi, right? So sometimes I actually go to my friend's house and work from there, and we just shoot the shit and chill out. And if I ever need to go to a meeting and talk about really confidential stuff, right? My friend's house has a room, right, with a door, like, you know what I mean? And worst case scenario, like, what really is the difference between a friend hearing your conversation versus like your family, right? From the company standpoint, it's still a third party person, right? So, oh no, someone knows there's like, you know what I mean? It doesn't, like, what the fuck? Doesn't matter. So
I think it depends on what kind of job
it really depends on, I think it's job specific, right? But I don't know, I tried to ask as many people from, like, I asked I have some friends that are in real estate, in banking, teaching, obviously. I'm in supply chain. Like, there's like, I try to ask a lot of people, right? And so this was the consensus that I got. Like, I miss my colleagues. One of the biggest ones, and also like too many people at home, and it's taking my attention away. And I just thought, both of these, yeah.
So did you get more entries for I want to stay home, or I would like to go back to work?
Well, no, almost exclusively everybody said they want to go back to work. But I just thought, like, in my mind, like, for me, I love staying at home, right? I'm probably one of the only person, actually, like, everybody I talk to says, can't wait to go back to the office. But I don't know, I just disagree. So, because I really like working from home. I like, telling colleagues to fuck off when they're being stupid, right? And I don't know, I honestly advise people to try it if you haven't already. It is liberating to do so. Like, especially the one colleague that you don't like, right? It's just like, hey man, chill the fuck out. Even as something as easy as that, because I don't know. Yeah, please try it. It's liberating. Yeah. Try it. Yeah. Obviously, mute your mic though. Okay. Don't, like, if you get in trouble, don't.
That's the thing. What if you just forget?
Hey, YMB podcast, you fucking got me fired. Like, no, I didn't.
Exactly.
You're just a. You don't. I don't know. You're fucking stupid. I can't help you. No. But speaking of stupid though, just really funny. Did you hear about Trump and the whole injecting? What is it? Injecting the cleaning stuff, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Bleach or something.
Yeah, or like, not whatever, right? Fuck, I can't.
One of my friends was making a joke on the group chat. He was like, by the way, don't drink bleach, guys.
Or whatever. Yeah. You know what that reminded me of though? The Tide Pod thing that all the kids did back then.
Maybe he was behind that too.
Yeah, like it reminded me of that, right? And the first
cleanses your body.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was natural selection. Like, if you're actually dumb enough to do that, like, sorry again, but yeah, like, if you're actually dumb enough to drink bleach or do whatever the fuck because you think it cures coronavirus.
I just don't know who's advising him to say these things.
Himself.
You sure?
I'm like 90.
But like, what about his filter? Like, who's?
He doesn't have a filter.
Did he tweet that?
No, there was a meme somewhere where he was looking at it. He was looking at like a post that says, disinfectants. Yeah, inject disinfectants. That's it. Sorry. There's disinfectants that kill the virus, and if you inject it directly into your system, then it'll cure it.
I can't wait to see the doctors respond to that.
They all said no. That they all, like, so many doctors from different countries, head of doctor in country A, country B, whatever. They're all like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because just don't do it, right? But yeah, it just reminded me. Yeah, it just reminded me of Tide Pod, and I was like,
that was so weird.
It is weird.
I watched someone. Yeah,
really?
like
I've never actually.
No, one of the videos I saw, like,
I've never
They're, like,
actually seen one.
Yeah, they like squeezed it, and I was like, yeah. I thought it was a joke, but apparently it wasn't.
Did they actually eat it? Oh, I guess like they actually.
They split it out, spit it out afterwards, but yeah, didn't some kids died of it?
That's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah, so I don't understand like.
Or like went to the hospital.
No, some died for sure. Some died for sure, and if you inject disinfectants, you may actually. I don't know.
It's worse than cinnamon challenge. Do you remember that?
No. What?
Cinnamon challenge, where people just like put a spoonful of cinnamon, and that's like deadly because cinnamon powder is very dry, and it sucks all the moisture.
Oh, dehydrates you.
Yeah. So when you put cinnamon powder in your mouth and try to swallow it, you're gonna cough and like choke.
That's a
scary
thought.
So that became a challenge too back in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, and like there were many videos on that. Because people just make anything a challenge.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
some of them are deadly.
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds? Can we say our friends here? Can we say the name of our friends here?
No, I didn't.
So you didn't? Okay. Well, we have this one friend.
Maybe later.
Yeah, we'll need the consent. But so we have this one friend. If you remember who he is, during someone's birthday, he drank an entire soy sauce.
Okay.
Right? Yes. You remember him? Yeah. So we're just gonna call him Bill, okay? Just because it's easy. Bill would strike me as the person not to do that kind of stupid stuff. Not like if he knows it's dangerous, he won't do it, obviously. But he's very daring, and
he's like, daring, but he's not stupid.
No, I'm not saying he is, right? I'm not saying he would inject it. I'm not saying, but I'm saying that like, if he wasn't aware of the cinnamon challenge and the dangers of it, that's probably, I feel like that's something that he would have done. Just because like obviously like things with chemicals like Tide Pod and like the disinfectants, obviously that's too stupid for him.
Right.
But like, hey, try a spoonful of cinnamon, right? If you didn't tell me, I would be like, okay, sure, right? I don't even know the dangers of it, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's obviously not as deadly as the other two. But it's still like not something I would try.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. When you
maybe I'm just a puss.
Pussy? Yeah. Well, I mean, you are, but that's a different story. We'll talk about that next time. Okay, don't worry. But yeah. So when you brought up the cinnamon thing, I just thought of Bill because I was like, oh, that's something that he might do. Not in a and once again not in a stupid way, but he's a very daring person.
Yes.
And he's also someone I haven't seen in a long time, but that's also because he's very busy. And I know, like, that's a different sort of, I haven't seen him. He's genuinely busy.
There's a lot of people that I kind of feel bad because right now we have so much more time, kind of. And some of these friends that I haven't talked to for a while, I should be, like, kind of reconnecting and, asking how they're doing, because you never know. Maybe some of your friends are sick or their family got sick,
Yeah, and if you like just lose touch and like they don't hear back from you, that is a little sad.
Stay in touch with your friends, guys.
Yeah, even if you're the only one that has to reach out. Sorry, you can see my disapproval there. I don't know.
I mean, if you care about them enough. If you don't really care about them either, then whatever.
Okay, I feel like you're just painting me in a bad light, so I have to defend myself here. I cared about all of them, okay? I cared about all those friends, but it is tiring to always say, like, it was tiring for me at least, to say, hey, you want to go out now? Or, like, even just a bunch of that, like a group of people, right? Do you guys want to go out? No, I'd rather stay home, because once again, they're introverts, right? No, I'd rather stay home, play video games. Nah, you know what I mean? Like, you really have to cater to each one and be like, let's do this, because if there's like even the tiniest thing that they don't like, they're like, nah, I'm not down, and like next time you're like, okay, well, you know what, like,
people can be picky with what they want to do.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, for me,
it's hard to be the one that always has to put things together,
arrange everything. A little spoiler, I guess this is a little family stuff, but I mean, I'll say it anyways. So tomorrow, which is Saturday, because we're filming on Friday, even though you'll see this on Sunday. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, all my boomers, like all the boomers from my family, like my mom, aunts, and all that. Okay, boomer, right? They're gonna be video chatting, like, because with all their other boomer friends from around the world, okay? And this will be the first time that they actually use technology like this, I think.
Oh,
And I'm
so
very,
they're just doing a huge group chat?
yeah,
Oh.
and with webcam too. I'm
Sounds
very
like a
scared.
disaster.
Like for me to plan this, it wasn't crazy, but like I had to coordinate from people from Australia, right? We here alone have like in Toronto alone, I have 4 different aunts and like different locations. So I have to coordinate with my brother and like, okay, you have to go here at this time and this time because make sure everybody's system is working, right? Because honestly, I shit you not, just last week I had someone ask me, what does the microphone with an X, with a thing like that, a red microphone, there was a microphone with like a red like X. I'm like,
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
like either you don't pay attention, like I don't know, if there was I mean, so I get it, if there's like a huge no smoking sign here, some people still do smoke that, right? Because maybe they're also that dumb, I don't know, right?
But you're talking about boomer, right?
Boomers, yeah.
So
they're
I mean, different species.
yeah, I'll report back in episode 2 next, or yeah, and I'll let you guys know how that goes, but I'm
experiencing things like that hands-on right now too, because I'm helping my mom with her technology, because she's a teacher too, and she has to upload videos to her school board, and so taking a video, uploading it, and then like putting it on Word. There's so many things that she has to know how to do. I would say she's actually not bad, but still sometimes she asks me just really questions that you think like, how can you not know this?
How can you be this fucking stupid? You know, like, gosh.
I guess that's what I'm thinking, but obviously I didn't say that.
See, if you were working from home, you can mute your mic and say it out loud, right? Right?
I guess so.
Imagine you had like a mute feature in real life, like, fuck you, you're so dumb. Hey, sorry, mom. Sorry.
It might be invented.
Can someone invent that? That would be so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might not even be
like you.
It might not even be swearing. Like I'm just walking down the street and I'm like, holy fuck! Like,
I do wish I can like give the middle finger sometimes more discreetly. But,
to who?
Just to stupid people like driving, or I don't know, Trump. Just kidding. Yeah, just people that they don't know what they're doing sometimes.
To your driving point, though, there was actually to your driving point, because every time I read something, I read an article somewhere, which talked about like perspective and all that stuff. Now that every time I see someone driving past me really fast or they're speeding, whatever, you don't know if that person is like delivering a baby, right? Like, you know, his wife's in the car and like they're going, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, I mean, like, I try to be understanding.
I think it's important to give people the benefit of the doubt, which I know you do because you're much more kind than me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you said that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm the one that's supposed to be hot-headed, right? You're like the kind...
I mean, you roll the window down and like...
Do I tell people to fuck off in the car? I don't think so.
A few times.
I tell you... No.
Not recently.
I tell you to beat them, though.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, like, when you're driving.
I roll down the window and yell at people?
What?
I
don't know.
Since when?
Maybe not roll down the window.
It doesn't... like...
Maybe I just picture that.
Now you're just making me shut up. I feel like you're making me shut up.
But you definitely give them fingers.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that I'm in. I don't roll down the window though, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't.
I guess so.
I press my finger up against the window, and yeah. So what I do is I drive up next to them, so we're parallel, and I give a very clear finger, right? And then he'll give it to me, and then usually that person gives it to me back, and then we go into like a little.
It's a friendly exchange.
Yeah, it is quite friendly, to be honest. And then we go off in our separate directions because I have to get off the highway or he gets on the highway. And we're not petty enough to follow each other, although I've heard stories like that though.
For me, if I've made silly mistakes on the road too, and sometimes I've seen people that give me a finger.
I've been flipped, yeah.
And I always just like look straight and like pretend he's not there. Yeah. Just like pretend I can't see them.
That's how you know you're the kind person, because you avoid conflict.
I'm not gonna confront
you
them.
Avoid conflict, where I'm like, hey man, you did something stupid and I want you to know about it.
But I do say the F word the most in the car though. Yeah. Like, especially when no one else is
road
looking.
rage. I know.
Yeah.
I know you have that, but that's okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I guess that's a lot. We already covered a lot. I mean, a lot of stuff from working from home, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about working from home, being at home, stuck at home, all that, everything from that. But yeah, next week I'll keep you guys updated on the whole boomer webcam situation, which is I think it's gonna be hilarious, by the way.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be bad. Although your parents already know how to do FaceTime, seems like.
I do, but remember, so my mom is the youngest out of all her brothers and sisters. So there are others that are much older, and
I can see one of your aunts having trouble.
I don't know, like, we'll see, right? And I don't want to paint an entire generation with one, paintbrush per se. So we'll see, okay? Anyways, our social media, or our Instagram's down here. Sorry, and yeah. Follow us.
Message.
Yeah, if you guys
like, and yeah, you can also let us know what you want us to talk about, because we have some ideas, but we plan to do this once a week, so we do need a lot of topics. Shoot us a message. Just ask us any questions. We'll be happy to answer them. Obviously, if you guys can like the video, it would help us a lot. And yeah, see you guys next week. Bye. Bye.